Well, it's springtime again and the flowers are blooming, everything's going nicely, the weather's warming up. But here in Melbourne, we're still in lockdown. So I'm going to have to do something different. And we're in lockdown for another couple of weeks, about another fortnight, and hopefully I'll be able to go out and do something, including maybe playing with my drone, which I can't do at the moment. Anyway, I thought I would do an unboxing. Well, not an unboxing, but a reveal of the things I've been getting in the mail while we're in lockdown. I haven't been spending money on going out to dinner and traveling around and doing all those other things that normal human beings can do. I can't go and see the new Bill and Ted movie. I can't go and see Tenet because cinemas are shut here at the moment. And all of that sucks because I want to see both of those movies. Nonetheless, I can watch some movies because I've been spending money on the internet to buy DVDs and Blu-rays. And I thought I'd do a little bit of an unboxing kind of thing to show you what I've been hauling. So we'll start out, there's this website called zavi.com.au which sells to Australia, UK DVDs and Blu-rays at a reasonable price with free postage. So I've been hitting them up a little bit. Some of these are from Zavi, some of them aren't. But it gives me an opportunity to get some kind of not mainstream DVDs and movies, which I would not be able to get otherwise. So that's kind of cool. And I'm going to start out with this one. It's from about 1973. It's a lesser known Sean Connery movie. And of course, Sean Connery turned 90 last week. And so it's a movie called Ransom, which is really strange because there is no ransom in the movie. The other name for the movie went under at the time was The Terrorists, and it's a much better name for it. Remember when before 9/11 people could skyjack planes? Well, this is about a skyjacking where the plane lands in, they say Scandinavia, but it was filmed in Norway, as if Scandinavia was a country. The movie treats Scandinavia as if it was a country. But this one, Sean Connery's playing a police terrorism expert, a Norwegian one, we'll say Norwegian for the sake of argument, who goes up against the Brits who have their own agenda. There have been a whole bunch of bombings in England. The movie starts out with showing all the bombings, and then the plane gets hijacked by one of the terrorists and brought to Norway with demands that terrorists get released from prison and brought to the aeroplane. Now, it's not a bad little kind of lowish budget action thriller. Sean Connery's quite good in it. You get to see him in the show if that's your kind of thing. And he's playing a kind of anti-authoritarian figure in this one. It's a nice little hidden gem in Sean Connery's career. I don't think it's the best movie he ever made because we all know A Fine Madness is the best movie he ever made. But if you haven't seen it, it's worth seeing. The supporting cast is good. We've got Ian McShane playing one of the terrorists. Who else have we got in there? Mostly lesser known actors. It kind of works well. The Norwegian locations in winter work really well. There are some good tense action cinema for the 1970s, so I recommend that one. Ransom, which has got nothing at all to do with the Mel Gibson movie from a couple of decades ago. This one's actually worth seeing. So I'll move on to something I bought locally because I didn't have a copy of it. And that is a double feature of Hudson Hawk and The Last Action Hero. Now, I didn't have Hudson Hawk. I had The Last Action Hero, so I got rid of The Last Action Hero DVD I've got the double feature. I want to do a video soon about Hudson Hawk and why I like it, because it is kind of cool. It's very of its time. It didn't take itself seriously, and it kicked Bruce Willis's career in the nuts. But it's one of those vulgar pleasures we all have, and I kind of like Hudson Hawk. So I'm definitely going to do a video about that one at some time in the future. Let me know if you'd be interested. Got an espresso here because espresso is one of the essentials of life and of YouTubing. Anyway, moving on. Now, this one I haven't seen yet. It's a New Zealand film. I'm told it isn't very good, but I got it cheaply, and I want to support Australasian cinema. So this one is called Mega Time Squad. And I think at the price I paid for this, which was about $15 Australian, I'm going to take a risk on a movie called Mega Time Squad at $15 if it's New Zealand. Now, I know nothing about it. I'm going to read the back blurb just to give you a bit of an idea. No, I'm not, because it's too long, but I'm looking forward to this. New Zealand does some quirky genre films and has done for the last 30 years, dating back as far as The Quiet Earth. And so I'm going to enjoy this. It's probably going to be one where I'll sit back late at night with a bowl of potato chips and maybe a little bit of sipping whiskey and just enjoy it. But Mega Time Squad, I like the retro kind of name of it. I like the design where you've got some guy who looks like a young Billy Bob Thornton in the middle there, but isn't. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun to watch that one. I'll let you know how that one goes, because I do like a good New Zealand genre film, and even a bad one. Now this one is definitely and literally a blast from the past. A movie I saw when I was a kid, and I think I saw it in the cinemas, and it is from 1965, Crack in the World. Now this is the disaster movie of its era. It's a lot of fun to see. It's British made. It stars Dana Andrews, Kieran Moore and Janet Scott. Kieran Moore and Janet Scott were in The Day of the Triffids in 1963, made by the same company. It's about a bunch of scientists in a underground research centre in Africa who are trying to tap into the core of the earth and bring up a whole bunch of metals and bring up all the heat there and use it as a new energy source. And to crack into the mantle of the earth, they use a nuclear weapon, and things go wrong and the crack starts to spread. It punches above its weight, I think, as an action film. There's a subplot of a romantic love triangle between Kieran Moore's character, whose name is Rampion, which is a very cool name for anybody to have. Janet Scott, who is married to the older man, Dana Andrews. He's going through cancer treatment, and there's the kind of love triangle there. The special effects are of their time, but they're very good. There's some great model work in there. There's some great reprojection stuff. It just works, and it's got that audacity to try something that was slightly beyond the technological capabilities of filmmaking at the time. But they do it so well, and with the good character actors in there. They've got Alexander Knox in there as well, and a few other people. It really does work, and if you like 1960s adventure films, which is not a bad little genre to dive into when you get the opportunity, Crack in the World is definitely there. It hasn't been released here in Australia in any media, so I'm glad I was able to pick up a copy of it. Again, I got it very cheaply from Zavi, and it's nice to actually have a copy of it. Let me know if you want me to do a video about 1960s adventure cinema, because there's so many good things. I could probably do a top 10 on that and steer you in the direction of some really interesting film. This one I watched and I didn't like, which is a bit of a shame. I picked it up on spec from Zavi because I got the deal where I got 2 for $32 or something like that. And it's called Demoniacs. It's a Jean Rollin film. Jean Rollin did all these movies in the 1970s, which were basically a combination of softcore pornography and horror. He did a number of them where usually there were 2 young girls who are wandering around somewhere and get involved with vampires or demons and things like that. This one's a period piece, technically, where a whole bunch of people who are scavenged shipwrecks find 2 young women and do nasty things to them, and the young women find their way to an old abandoned church and get involved with the devil. And the devil happens to look like a lounge singer from the 1970s. There's lots of titillation in there. There's lots of female and male nudity, and it's filmed very badly. It's lit well, and the pictures are framed well, but there's actually no pacing to it. There's no characterizations. It's a very bad movie. Now, I don't know whether I'm going to keep this one or not. I may well give it away to somebody who likes this kind of thing more than I do. But again, you give things a go and just see how they roll. But for me, the Demoniacs just didn't work. It's French with subtitles, which doesn't make any difference one way or the other. But yeah, it's kind of its time. And when I was 15 or 16 going to the movies, I would have loved this movie. But as a mature adult, it really doesn't do it for me. So let's move on to a childhood movie. I didn't see this one until I was an adult because it wasn't released here in Australia when I was a child. But it's a classic. It was the first movie made based on an intellectual property by Dr. Seuss. And it's more for adults than it is for children. And it is The 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T from 1952-1953, I think, starring Mark Lynn Hayes, Mary Healy, Hans Connery playing Dr. T, and Tommy Reddick playing a little kid. It's kind of a dream sequency kind of thing about a little boy who doesn't like to play the piano, who dreams that his music teacher, Dr. Terwilliger, is an evil genius who runs an enormous place where he's going to get 500 kids to play the piano all at once for his nefarious purposes. He's kind of a cross between a music teacher and a James Bond villain. It's a beautiful film. The set designs are all based on Dr. Seuss's designs. The character designs to a certain extent are as well. The songs are fun. The music's fun. It kind of works. There were some bits that were taken out of the movie. The extras here give you a great history of the movie and the history of the things that were taken out of it. And it's a bit of a shame that it was ahead of its time. Had it been made a decade or two later, it would have been up there with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory as that kind of kids movie which triggers the imagination. It's got song and dance in it. It's a lot of fun to watch this one and to see a movie which really did try something that wasn't being tried in cinema at the time, particularly in America. And it's really worth checking out. Again, it wasn't that expensive, and I kind of enjoyed revisiting it, particularly given the fact that it's on Blu-ray, so it looks beautiful. The colours really pop. It was at that time when Technicolor really was super saturated. There's some nice things done with hanging mats and matte paintings. From a special effects viewpoint, it really looks good. And the costuming and the musical sequences work really well as well. So it's The 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T. I did pick this up because it's a childhood favourite, and it's showing, I think it's showing on SBS Viceland here in Australia. If it isn't now, it was recently. And I managed to get a deal where I got this quite cheaply. And it is the box set of the 1966 to 1968 Batman, starring Adam West and Burt Ward. It's got all the great Batman villains in it. Cesar Romero's Joker. It's got all three Catwomen in it. It's got Vincent Price playing Egghead, Frank Gorshin playing the Riddler, all of those things. I'm going to slowly dip into these and maybe do one a day for a while and just enjoy the silliness of the Batman TV series, which for me really picked up in season 2 when Batgirl came along, because when I was young, I had a hell of a crush on Yvonne Craig playing Batgirl. And so I'm going to relive my past a little bit by watching particularly season 2 of this. It's silly. It's very much of the 60s as pop art, op art. The Dutch angles really work. I like the direction style of the series. And so I'm going to watch this. But I think what I may end up doing is just binging it after I watch a couple of episodes. That's always a possibility too. But anyway, Batman, the whole series, I've got all of them there. Season 1, Season 2 and Season 3. Going to be a lot of fun to revisit. Which brings me to the last one. A kind of hidden gem, even though it does have Cliff Richard in it. And it is Espresso Bongo, a film directed by Val Guest, starring Lawrence Harvey, Sylvia Sims, Yolanda Dolan and Cliff Richard. It's about a press agent working in Soho in the late 1950s, early 1960s. And it really does make fun of popular culture and popular entertainment as it was at the time on TV, on record, in general. I haven't seen this for a long time, so I'm looking forward to revisiting Espresso Bongo. I've seen it once. I just keep saying Espresso Bongo. It's Espresso Bongo. It's a lot of fun, and it's got special features in it, so I'm going to learn a lot more about the movie. Really going to enjoy that one. Again, a hidden gem. Diving into British cinema anytime from, say, 1950 to 1980 is a lot of fun. There's just so much hidden stuff there that really hasn't got enough exposure in the modern realm of the internet. There are lots and lots of English movies that really do need to get a bit of love. And I may well end up doing a few videos about them as well, because I really want to steer people towards interesting cinema wherever and whenever it comes from. So that's Espresso Bongo. A bit silly, very fun. Lawrence Harvey is superb in it, but I don't remember enough about it. I saw it once, maybe a decade ago, but now I've got the Blu-ray. I'm quite happy with that, and I will enjoy it, and I may well throw a review in. Let me know if you want to see a review of this one as well. Thank you very much for watching, and thanks to all the new subscribers as well. I really appreciate that people appreciate what I'm doing, and I'm going to keep doing it. So here's the layout. I'll throw in Demoniacs there, even though I didn't particularly like it. So let me know if you want to see another haul too. I've got a whole bunch of things on order which are slowly trickling through quarantine at the moment. It's nice to be able to access some movies that I couldn't get otherwise at a reasonable price. And there are some things upcoming in Australia in particular. I think we're having a bit of a resurgence in physical media as people are isolating during COVID-19. And I'll rock the table there. People are isolating during COVID-19, so we're getting a bit of a bump in people buying physical media in Australia. So a few Australian companies are starting to come out with some interesting product. So I may well take a look at that soon and just see what's there and see what I can recommend. So anyway, that's it this time around. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, leave a comment and hit the notification bell. And I will catch you next time. In the meantime, watch some good movies, watch some bad movies, watch some hidden gems, and I'll catch you next time.